Stevens again, here with Nick Trull. We are on the campus of Red Ventures. And Nick, great to have you on the podcast.
Glad to be here. As I said, I'd never really been on one. I didn't know if I was supposed to talk in the mic or get close.
You don't have to yell in the mic. You don't have to do anything but be yourself.
What do I do with my hands?
Oh, right. All right. So keep them comfortable as well. So Nick, tell us a little bit. You and I have known each other for a while. We both been in the training business for a while, and you are currently running this thing called Life Hoops here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I, oddly enough, ended up here on Red Ventures campus and got to know our CEO, Rick Elias, and he had started a program, more of a project and a movement called Life Sports, which is originally just trying to reach kids through sport. The opportunity of connecting and that kids can be more than they say they are. There's a big study that came out in Charlotte about economic mobility, and we ranked 50th of all 50 state cities, so we were the lowest of kids moving from poverty outside of that.
Wow.
So it was initially thought to combat that. Like, how do we serve kids and provide another avenue to elevate them? And I think we've learned so much more. And like what Life Sports essentially is we take Title I schools in Charlotte, which are kind of the lowest poverty-stricken locations. We have full-time coaches like on the ground floor every day in YMCA scattered around Charlotte, and these kids come each day of the week. We have weekend events that come in the summer, and we get to serve them through sport, through mentorship, through events and academic, and just we've seen a lot of stuff improve data-wise, and we've seen so much stuff you can't quantify.
Right.
How a kid looks you in the eye, how he shakes your hand, and the confidence. So Life Hoops, it's more of the life side, and a lot of our guys love the game.
Yeah.
But we just want to impact kids. We don't want to make them college basketball players.
Right. Well, and what I hear out of that is like proximity, relationship, being with these kids day in and day out. That's what you guys think of really make the difference.
Yeah, I think it's like Rick says something sometimes, that you can see a kid for what he can be, not what he thinks he is. Like you're just seeing him for more. And so I think the beauty of the program is it's just like we're a safe place each and every day, like that they can go. And I think back to like my day and age, and there's like 3 guys that stick out, or 3 or 4 that stick out in my mind that were like just there, like providing insight or just a relationship, or a guy that would text you and follow up. And like I think at this age, there's so much volatility in how you can make decisions and what path you can go down, that having someone consistent that truly cares, and been fortunate to have a staff of guys that really care, I think it makes waves in like their trajectory of life.
Yeah. Well, and so cool too. Somebody like Rick Elias, who's built Red Ventures, which right now, guys, we are on campus at Red Ventures, like one of the coolest places to be around. It's got to be. I know you enjoy being here to work, but somebody like that who's built something that has a heart for kids and not just business, but doing something with it. I mean, that's got to be pretty cool to work for.
Yeah, I think he cares too.
Yeah.
Like it's not just using resource to impact. Like he loves hoops. Like he's a guy that wants he loves the game and understands what it did for him. Like he talks about that game doesn't love him back. Like, but it taught so much to him as a person, as a player, and developing. So I think being that we have the connection with the Hornets and Matt Carroll, and with that, like that. It initially started with he and Matt Carroll playing one-on-one, creating an idea, and how do we serve more, and then it developed into more and more. So knowing that he cares, and and we run it like a business at Red Ventures, so we analyze it and try to structure it in the same way to make sure that we don't have any waste to what we do. And so it's been fun to just be a part of. I'm just considering myself part of this wave, and I'll keep riding it. And glad to be in. That's something that fulfills me on a daily basis. Yeah,
so Life Hoops, how can anybody who's interested connect with Life Hoops?
Yeah, so we just launched Life Kicks now. So a little more branded now on the Life Sports side. So we're actually upgrading our website, lifesports.org, and you can now plug in on Instagram, lifehoops _ like CLT, or lifehoops.org right now. But eventually it'll kind of all funnel through our Life Sports channel, because we think that ultimately the ball is just a segue to whatever demographic. So we're kind of going down this soccer journey, and my footwork skills don't mimic the ability to shoot a ball, so it's been fun. So
a little different, a little branch out for you.
Yes,
learning
new things.
I dig it. All right, so you're not in Life Hoops because you were a golfer.
I am not.
You have some basketball history to yourself, so You grew up here in Charlotte.
Yep.
Take us through, Nick Trull's journey from,
It was a fun one, man. I think you think back to all the times and you miss that journey of like each day is a new day and competing and playing. And Charlotte was really, really competitive. This is back pre-age before everyone was getting commented on a social media thread. And so you would get put in the paper if you were top 10 in the city or who were the best guys around. You got a write-up. And I just remember, I grew up here and just in 3A private school, we had like 5 NBA players my senior year. So I led the entire state in scoring and didn't make our all-state team. Like I was so mad in the moment, and I think back to like, holy crap, these guys made a great decision. Like there was legitimately 7 pros, 5 NBA guys.
Right.
So you have both Plumlees, the Curry, Ryan Kelly, Jarrell Eddy, who's now made it from the G League to the NBA, and so these guys are just really, really talented, and that's just in 3A private.
Right.
So my journey was like I would just go like YMCA to YMCA to outdoor court. Like I was addicted to the game.
Yeah. The
process of development. The guy that was shooting the snow. Like I just fell in love with like getting better.
Yeah.
And playing it and competing. Like I loved to win, and I had this like weird addiction to like I would love to leave school at 7:15 sweating. I got there at 6. And you were walking in like halfway shaking off your hair that you just combed because you woke up and like knowing that I was tougher than you. Like, that feeling to me was really cool. And I think it carried me along the journey. And I think Charlotte was so talented, like I said, that it wasn't, I guess, under-recruited in some nature. But I didn't have a ton coming out of high school, and I had some Division I interest. But I was probably that 4th or 5th guy on a shooting guard list, or I couldn't guard a chair, probably still can't guard one. So for me, it was like I didn't have this big recruitment, and where nowadays like shooting is so much more valued in the game. I didn't have as much. So even some places in my backyard, the Division II schools weren't. So I had a few offers. Ended up going to Anderson University, which is Division II in South Carolina, who was trending upwards, and we had a new young group of guys that were rising sophomores, and I was so excited just to play, like to get a scholarship and be at the next level, and like I think I like broke the shooting machine my first year. Like I just wanted to stake the reputation of like I still worked harder than anybody. Right. But I look back and I'm really thankful that I'm the only one that worked in college, because if those guys worked as hard as I did, I wouldn't have played. Because they're just really talented, and I was just average, athletic white guy that could shoot a few. But I think ultimately, like I just had great teammates and a great coach in college. 3 of our 4 years we made the NCAA tournament. We made it to the Elite Eight, Sweet 16. I got a few rings, and I think that was the right level for me.
Sure.
And I try to tell guys today is go to a level where they couldn't live without you. Right. Like they are staking their program around you, and that necessarily wasn't me, but I got to come in right around and play. We had 6 guys average double figures. I still have a few school records, probably field goal attempts being one. But I really enjoyed like the camaraderie, and winning makes everything easier. I think it was so. I still just defined my journey that I was gonna my preparation was gonna breed my confidence. Right. I wanted to make sure that I would get up the shots to know that the next day would be predicated on the work that I put in before, and that was the time of Ray Allen really in his prime. JJ Redick was in college, and those guys are just hyper workers. Right. And I just loved that process of it. I think it kind of tailored me through, and I was fortunate to have a good career and mostly injury free, and just had a great coach. Jason Taylor was our coach at the time. Mm-hmm. He's now at Tennessee Tech, and Jeff Brookman was our assistant, who's now our head coach at my school. And both guys really cared. Yeah. They were detailed. They taught the game at a high level. And then we won games. We just had good guys, and I always say the food tastes better in college when you win games.
For sure. For sure. Now, don't get it twisted, because I just want to make sure that our audience knows, this guy is absolutely a gamer and a competitive guy. So one of the things that you mentioned is for players that are coming out, go where you are wanted, absolutely. But the reality is that there are a ton of really, really, really good Division II players. We're in Charlotte here, and Queens, Queens had, how many Division I wins did they have last year? They are a top-notch program.
I think they were Final Four last year, and maybe the year before. I think they were plus 30 wins. They have 4 guys. Just actually connected with Bart the other day, who's their head coach.
Yeah.
Great coach. And they have 4 or 5 current pros from that roster that are playing overseas. Todd Withers is in the G League. Like, the talent is really grown.
And so I just want to say that because sometimes we'll have some younger listeners that are like, oh, I just got to get this, just D1, or ACC, Pac-12, Pac-10, or Big Ten, and it's like, so you get it in your mind, but it is important that, you know, that kids are going where they are wanted and needed and they can play. But this is the thing, is Nick has probably had some of his best games. Now, this is just this is legendary in my world because I haven't been to the red runs. Can you tell us about the mythical red runs? And I hear you've gotten big time buckets there. I don't know, just
gotten a few. So the red run is kind of a name that came out of Red Ventures. Our CEO has a court at his house, and we have some great pickup games. And throughout the summer, pro guys are off, and they'll start to trickle in. And this summer, we had a higher influx of guys, and so Charlotte Hornets, Phoenix Suns guys that are kind of unrestricted free agents and looking for spots. So we've had a few days of 8 or 9 pros, and then I would, traditionally match up. And even my first trip to Rick's house was ironic, because the guy that organizes the run, it was like, hey, I have a good matchup for you. I hadn't played. I just had my daughter. Like, I hadn't played in 6 or 7 months. I feel like I had lost the touch. He was like, "Hey, we look forward to having you. I heard you still go a little bit. Your matchup is Malik Monk." And I was like, "Oh, great! Like, sounds great." Luckily, we both are more potent offensively, so I think we both had a good day. But yeah, I think like this past summer, Kimba, I've become the biggest Kimba Walker fan. He is such a better human than he is a player, and he's a really, really good player. And so like Miles Bridges and Gerald Henderson and Cody Zeller are just great guys. So there's a day or two we had 8 guys in there. There was one situation where we came late in game 3, and I got hot late, and I hit a few down the stretch over a few pros, and we had some NFL guys in the stands, and it was a good feeling for an old guy. But I think I got a switch, and someone stepped out, and I called off. I didn't want another switch, and went right at a pro and hit a shot. Those are the ones you can tell your kids about.
No doubt.
And in 10 years, I hit 10 in a row, not 2 in a row.
Right. So yes, Nick is one of the most competitive guys I've been around, which I love. It's I know it drives you also, and to do really. Not just what you've done with basketball, but to make life hoops as great as it can be, and how it can impact those. And then we met through training kind of, and you've been a great trainer, very detailed and all that. But something that we kind of talk with all of our guests about is like what were some of like the obstacles that you hit, or some maybe a failure, or something that hit you that you had to push through, climb over, get past for you to get to where you got to in your journey.
Yeah, I'll kind of allude to 2 that'll kind of tie together. The first one being like coming out of high school, like expecting to be a Division I athlete like most do, and like understanding some guys going at levels, like saying I still believe I firmly went to the right level and had a great career. I came in as like literally led the entire state in scoring, thinking like, oh great, I'm coming to this level to play. And I remember like my first day playing pickup on campus. And I caught one on the wing, jabbed a guy right, was like getting to the paint. Literally in my mind, in a split second, I was like, man, this is too easy. Like, I'm going to average 30 here. And like I went to go for a layup, and a guy literally put both hands on the backboard, grabbed it, like yelled at me on the way down, and was going the other way. I was like, oh man, like these guys can play. And I ended up playing, which like looking back now is excellent, like 20 minutes a game as a freshman. And but still, like going from being like every possession's play as a high schooler, like how getting the ball every touch, shooting whenever I wanted, to playing in a system, playing 22 minutes some nights, playing 12 minutes some nights, depending on performance or matchups or speed and style of play. It was just really, really hard. Yeah. And then like I had a great year and ended up leading us, like I was second in scoring as a freshman, even coming off the bench. So I mentioned leading in FGAs. I didn't hesitate to get it up, but like as I went into a sophomore year, we brought some Division I transfers in. We brought another guy in, and we were really, really good. And my role didn't really increase with my expectations. Like I just assumed I would be able to get more and have more. I didn't start my second or third year. And note that I said our second all-time leading scorer.
Right.
And for 3 years, I came off the bench.
Right.
One, like I said, I was productive, I think, in nature, but like it was hard mentally to like overcome like not having growth or having the potential to be more. And then I think that led into one of the biggest challenges is coming into my senior year, we graduated 5 seniors. So it was more or less, and I had developed some leadership qualities as a junior and was a vocal leader and used my voice since my feet weren't as fast. And I remember like thinking, hey, this is my year. I'm really excited to lead this group. We just come off of an Elite 8 finish. We were preseason top 25 in the country. And I'm playing at home one day at the local Y here and guarding a guy full court for who knows why and trying to win a game at a local YMCA. And guy turns in and I break my right hand. And so I remember like not knowing. I remember keep playing in that game and going to grab a rebound. And like literally can't squeeze the ball. I ended up trying to like knowing my competitiveness, try to go for the win with my left-handed jump shot. Like lose the game. And I ended up going to the doctor, broke my hand, and like this is midsummer going into my senior year. And like for like a moment, I was devastated.
Right.
Like I think like when I think of like just a first world obstacle.
Yeah.
Like I was looking forward to having the best summer I could to project into my senior year, to lead a team, and I didn't see the benefit of it then and there. I had a great coach who I remember like sending me a handwritten note and an article about like development and like what you can do with other opportunities and how it can. So I remember playing with 2 of my good friends, like my good friend Lee Branscombe and John Edwards. We're at the downtown YMCA. I'm 3 weeks later in a cast, and ended up like really just getting into the movement of using my left hand all summer. And I remember them like we won a few games, and like I remember like even I was playing with a cast, and people were like sending the worst matchup my way. And like I was like still trying to like control a game like I would with both hands, and I got better at it. Yeah. But I remember like we lost a game, and they're like, if you shoot one more left-handed 3, like we are leaving you and will not play. And so like I would go home and like work on like just how can I be productive without what has made me and my identity of making shots and competing and scoring. So I think like in turn I came back as a senior like. I was one of our best finishers and passers going left. Yeah. And from the position that I played, I was like so much more confident throwing swing and drift passes left-handed and quick finishes left or outside hand hooks, and like in a moment like that could have like really deterred and derailed a summer for one of my biggest opportunities. And then that team ended up having the best record in school history. We were 26-6. We went to the Sweet 16. We went 17-1 in our league. And I had a big handprint on that team, and like every teammate, we had just great teammates. Yeah. But we didn't expect to be that good, losing 5 seniors from an Elite 8 team. Right. And like that obstacle, and so many people say it when you talk about growth, that rejection and that obstacle is like I think catapulted me into having a better year. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing is a lot of times that we face something that's unexpected, that doesn't go according to plan. And our instantaneous thing is freak out. Yeah. Like, wait a minute, this is not how it was supposed to go. Yeah. And in actuality, it turned out to be something that was monumental for your growth as a player. Because a lot of times you don't not go right until somebody stops you from going right. That's it. And a broken hand stopped you from going right.
I still have this idea of one day like writing my own book about, I'm gonna call it Left, where I literally only. I go left-handed for an entire year. Like I test myself on both sides. Like I wanted to do it, and then like I go play pickup, and I get too competitive, and I just can't do it because my left-hand shot, like it's just I can't make a jump shot. And so my identity is like wrapped up in my right hand, and I'm trying to like derail my mind to that and understand that I can be much more. Sure. And understand that like
because your friends were about to leave you.
They were. They were going to leave.
You shoot one more left-handed 3.
So but I think it's funny of like where we get like wrapped up into like who we think we are, and if we're like to speak to the obstacle, like we can. So I just want to continue to challenge, understand that I can be more than just a basketball player. Yeah. And, whether that's a husband or a father or a worker or an employee. Right. Like I think our identity is more than that.
So all right. So we've talked a lot about basketball so far, but you are much more than just a basketball guy. So tell me about your family. I mean, Married for 29 years.
I was lucky to, I found my wife before anybody else found her.
Right.
When I was 13 or 12 or 5, however we met. And so I think she had no idea what else was out there.
Right.
You know, I think so I was fortunate.
So no other picks.
Yeah, my wife and we've been together since we were 14.
Okay.
We went to the same high school.
Yeah.
And then we ultimately got married at like 23, right after college. She is a physician assistant. She is 10x smarter than me, 10x the person that I am. And we had our first offspring about a year ago. Our daughter Emerson is teaching me a lot about myself, who I am and what I am really not. So it's been a journey. But yeah, I think in all, it's just the people around you is just a blessing, and I hope that they know they give so much more to me than I give to them. It's just it's been fun.
So we talk about family a little bit, and how about like when I say faith to you, like what is that first? What does that first come to mind? What does it make you think of?
It's a journey too. I think if we go back to like the story as a player, the story as like a relationship with my wife, like faith to me is like a journey. I think too often we see like too much of the glitz and glamour of it, and like really like it's hard. Yeah. I think like when I really dived down, like I was fortunate to be exposed. I went to a Christian school. Right. I went to a Christian college, not by chance. It just happened that way. Like I have been exposed to a lot of the gospel and like church and like and I think and we try to make it appear better than it is at times. And I think it's a journey. Yeah. I think like it's constantly reevaluating and growing and pushing and understanding that. And we could have a whole nother conversation about the lows, the broken hands of faith, and where like that has taken me and like. So I think for me it's an ever-ending goal. Like I want to continue to get better at it, and even that's just 5 minutes a day. So
when you say get better at it, get better at what?
Yeah, I think it is. I wish I could tell more about it. Yeah. Like if I'm a believer and I have conviction that Jesus Christ is Lord, then if I follow that gospel and narrative, I want to get better at. To me, it's more about just serving others. I think it's just like this fundamental case of like love and who you are innately, and I'm not one to publicize it or push it. So for me, it's been a challenge because you're not going to see on a billboard me telling you to come to church or push it. And I just want to get better every day about those that I influence.
Right. And it doesn't I appreciate you saying that because it doesn't have to be that. A lot of times we get told like, oh, if you believe something, then you got to make sure everybody knows it. Well, like what we see, even if we look at Jesus' life, I mean, he just walked it and he loved people, and of course he talked to crowds because they've never seen anybody like him. Yeah. But for us to feel like we have to do it a certain way, and then I sometimes I feel like I'm judged as a Christian on how many people have I talked to about Jesus, or how much of this I've done, and I'm not so sure that that's the right way of doing it or not. I mean,
I think the beauty is everyone's journey is unique. Yeah. Like I think judge sometimes is an odd word, but I think in nature, I think it would be like we have these opportunities and there's this freedom to make influence and change. Yeah. As you do, more and more will come to you. And, similar to a corporate structure, as you grow, responsibility will follow, and more of that will be. So it is. It's like I think sometimes we're too numerical of like how many did you bring or change or save, and like really I just hope like people when they leave, I hope my presence is a difference maker in someone's. Yeah. As so many people have been to me. Sure. Because when I think back at the others, like there's been a huge influence on my life of just caring, and like this word like illuminate has been like kind of in my mind lately of like who are you, like what light are you? Like I think we only have the only connection between any of us is we only have the chance at today. Like today's date is we don't know what's tomorrow, and we can make the best of today. And I hope that today I can influence the people that come in my sphere. Right. And for me, like I have a conviction to try to do it positively, and if there's a way to connect with that spiritually, then I'll try to open that window. Right.
But it sounds like you want to just live it more than you just want to say it. I mean, a lot of times we switch those, and we say it a lot. And maybe we don't live it, or maybe there's awesome people out there that live it and say it, and they're all about it, right? So I'm not saying there's a right way to do it, but if we don't live it and we're saying it, there's something within us, there's a discord within us, and then certainly from the outside, anybody that we interact with, there's confusion.
Right.
I know that I've been there before when I've not lived it, and I've said it, but I haven't lived it, and so that's I guess a little aside on how I feel like God's still working in me. All right, so a little bit about faith. I appreciate that. How do you feel like that impacts how you're day-to-day with your family? Like, I mean, you've got a new daughter. She's beautiful. Good grief, man. Good thing she looks like her mom.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's awesome. So, like, how does that, you guys, how does that make you think differently, having a kid, or like?
I mean, it's definitely taught me more. I think just the kid by nature, like, immediately teaches you humility. Like,
right.
My daughter had, like, what's called, like, severe reflux. So, like, she would not sleep. So, like, what I valued so much is my time and my autonomy to do and what I wanted when I wanted. And that was taken away quickly. And like, understanding that it's not just about me.
Right.
And I think the ability, like, what faith can teach you through kids is, like, and I'm only a year in.
Yeah.
I'm sure your stories are deeper of what you've gone through or learned and when. And so I don't know. I think the impact it's having is I just want to, like, what can it teach me so that I can influence better? And, like, if I have the chance to put her to sleep most nights, I try to say some type of thought and prayer to say, like, I hope that I can be an influence and that she can see that her worth is not dependent on anyone else or the world.
Right.
And I think that's what we got to consider. That we're so often deterred by others or their thought or opinion or this social media world of was it liked or unliked. And we put value and stock in that. And I think having a kid, it teaches me that we're not judged or valued on that. And I hope that others, and she can see that when she gets older.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, so take us through a day in the life of Nick Trull. Take us through.
Everyone's different now. I wish I was in a gym for early morning workout and recovery in the afternoon.
Right.
So life sports allows me to have a lot of autonomy in how we run it and what we do. And so I'm kind of around our city, but a traditional day, I'll be up pretty early before my daughter gets up to allow me to get some type of operational work done or connection. And so, like yesterday, I was actually at our CEO's house playing some one-on-one. So if he happens to listen to this, you did get the better of me yesterday, but that will change. So,
wow.
But so it usually starts pretty early for me. And then I'll get into our office. Our program is until 3:00. So I usually spend our morning kind of connecting with our team or kind of seeing where we're at or looking towards the future. So a lot of my day, I feel like I'm better in the morning hours. I'm more efficient and can connect. Usually by midday, if I'm sat in a chair for too long or haven't connected with people, I get out and get some type of workout so that if I do have to play, I don't embarrass myself.
Right.
And then by afternoon, if I get the pleasure, like we have 4 locations across Charlotte, like I really love to go without having to think and just spend time with these kids and connect, and because they've taught me so much about life, and like one of the coolest stories that I remember is like just what an exposure or a touch can do is we took a group of kids to go to a Winthrop game last January with Pat Kelsey, and one of our locations on East Charlotte, we have a kid named DeMarge who is probably one of the fastest kids I've ever seen, like just end to end, like can just run, like he jumps off walls. And I told him, I was like, hey, like you could run track in college, like you're that fast. And I was getting at it because like we were trying to bump his grades up and get him to improve. And he's a great kid. And I was like, hey, like if you had your grades right, you'd probably go to college. And we had just returned from Winthrop, and I was like, not thinking of that, and I said, like, where would you go to college? And he's like, I'll probably go to Winthrop. But my mom was like, why the hell would you go to Winthrop? Like, there's like Duke, there's Chapel, the state of like the top colleges in the country. And then like to me, it hit me like paradigm shift for me of like every moment we have or every opportunity to expose ourselves or someone else to something new, like could create a new thought stream, an idea that could literally change a trajectory. And I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Well, and you're part of it on such a positive side, because we also know that being exposed to some of the negative news stuff too can send us on a different trajectory. and you and your team, you're part of something that is putting something new and fresh and positive and goal oriented in front of these kids. I mean, that's to do that like day in and day out, like that's pretty special.
It's fun. You know,
yeah.
I think I get the best benefit. Like, I give all kudos to like our coaches who are like on the ground floor every day, because not every day is as fun as that. And like we're dealing with obstacles and challenges, and those guys are just great. I'm the nice uncle who gets to come by once a week and get a high five and play some one-on-one and connect. But I think all of us are under that same conviction and belief that like the energy that you can give, and I don't know, I'm not sure how to quantify it or measure it, but I'm like this believer in like energy. And when someone walks into a room with good energy, it can change the rest of the room. And like even a touch or connection, and like luckily our group and our team in this building has an energy that is around it. I think it sends goodness into me and to others, and I think that can change the scope, which can kind of tie into love and how we treat one another. So it's a blessing. So then that day concludes with trying to run home to hang out with my wife and my daughter, and we watch some type of Netflix show to fall asleep.
Of course.
Probably the 7th round of The Office. So,
I love it.
So if you're listening to this and play basketball, keep playing as long as you can.
Right.
You don't want that schedule. So.
All right, so I'm going to turn the tables a little bit, man. I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask me something.
I think knowing you for a while, a guy that I will lean on and connect with, and have been a friend and a mentor of mine, and loving what you do and how you do. I think that I'm such a believer of people and love people and connect with people. Like, I want to know, outside of family, who is the biggest influence on Colin Stevens' life and why?
Good grief. Like, it's, not sure I was expecting that one, man. I can't put it on one person. There's certainly a handful of guys I've been able to meet with my pastor over the past 6 years on a weekly basis, and he's I feel like he's poured truth into me and helped guide me, on a spiritual sense. But my parents were fantastic growing up. They believed in me and they pushed me towards what I wanted to do. But then, as I've gotten older, I think, Bruce Stankiewicz very well, and he and I have had conversations that are very implemental to me. But I think, I would say more so like those people, absolutely, but also what I've been reading, spending time in the Word, but also reading plenty of books that challenge me on business, that challenge me on my faith, that challenge me on how I operate, day in and day out. And so, I'm not a reader, but as of recently, I have become one, and so I think that has been very, very, very influential in me just trying to become as good as I can be. And but I've got a great team with F2 and with Manager Basketball, our youth academy. Like, I've got some awesome dudes that I get to see almost on a daily basis that also pour into me, and certainly my wife. She makes me better. Just you know how that goes. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So Nick, how can people connect with you? Like, if they're out there, and they want to know about you.
Certainly grab me on Instagram, and maybe 2-3 weeks before I get back to you. So I'm on Instagram and I engage a little bit. I try to stay a little bit. I just like to watch and connect with guys that I've been with. But certainly can reach out if you're in Charlotte or want to get involved with the program. My information is on lifesports.org.
Okay.
And you can, or Nick at lifesports.org, either one. So I'd love to always connect with young guys or people connecting and growing. So it's anybody that's a friend of Colin Stevens is a friend of mine.
Hey, man. Hey, I appreciate you coming on, man, and absolutely best of luck with you and your family. And Life Hoops, like Life Sports, keep doing your thing there. We've been following you guys, and it's really, really been cool to see what you're a part of. And it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be your friend and doing life together, man.
My man.
Let's give it up. Yeah.